Coming to you from that once-forgotten artery that pulses through the center of the continental United States and into the heart of the Ozarks, Grace Matthews. Looking in from the northern border, our Canadian friend, along with his countrymen feeling the effects of U.S. political issues, Connor Murphy.
Welcome to Dueling Dialogues, episode 147. I'm Connor Murphy here with Grace Matthews and the Hammer from Springfield, Missouri. Hi, you two.
Hi.
Hey, what's happening, man?
Back from the dead. This flu has taken its toll on me.
Oh my gosh, it's terrible.
I know, you went through it too.
Yeah, well, I feel like I'm coming up on the upside, you know. I'm just thinking here that sometimes they say on TV that the best things are said off the air. I think sometimes that's true with us too. What is it? Baking soda and maple syrup? Is that Canadian maple syrup?
Yes, it's got to be natural maple syrup. That's. We were talking about a cancer treatment there.
Okay,
yeah,
so that's good. And colonoscopies and
yeah. Well, isn't it kind of the trending topics among people our age?
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Finally, my parents. Hell, I may be my grandparents.
Yeah.
You know, that's a new thing when you see someone you haven't seen in a long time. The first thing you go into is your ails.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Well, how you feeling? Oh, did I tell you? Oh, I'm lucky to be alive.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
It's depressing.
Yeah, the only thing that I haven't tried with this flu is probably my grandmother's and my grandfather's recipe for home brew. Some good old moonshine. That shit'll kill anything.
Oh my gosh, that moonshine is very popular in the Ozarks.
Yeah.
And it's made a comeback.
Well,
Man, the Hammer and I, we go around to these places, we try it. We are not moonshine people, let me tell you.
I tell you what.
We're like standing there going, did I just drink lighter fluid?
I had one from this. There's a really nice distillery called Copper Mill.
Yeah, I think
And they make everything, gin, vodka, bourbon. And I'm telling you what, I tried every one of them. And the last one I took was they're all alcohol.
Yeah, it's like.
And let me tell you, you might as well drink gasoline.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I'm a pretty much of a veteran, all this stuff, and I've never had something like that actually just take my breath away. I told Grace, I said, that's it. Never again am I drinking any of that stuff. Never, ever is that touching my lips.
You know what? Never again.
Yeah.
That's what Trump's saying about the shutdown.
Oh, I know. What a mess.
Secretly, behind closed doors, he's saying never again. Not as long as Nancy Pelosi is Speaker of the House.
Yeah. It doesn't matter what deal he would have put on the table.
She doesn't give a flying rat's ass.
Nope.
About anything but going against Trump.
Pretty much. You said it all there, and I think it's all really evident.
A lot of people said, oh, he caved. He didn't cave. He's going to win at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But there had to be an adult in that room. And when they told him yesterday that we could possibly have a negative first quarter because of the shutdown, he said, hell no. Because you know what? We all want the wall. All of us conservatives and a whole lot of Democrats too. But what we don't want is our economy to suffer. The economy is always going to be more important than the wall. And that's what he said yesterday. And when you had people that couldn't show up to work because they couldn't pay for their daycare and they couldn't buy their own lunch, they're having to have to go through food lines. You know what? He said, I'm going to be the adult in the room. And truthfully, sometimes Trump can be a megalomaniac.
Yeah.
He did the right thing yesterday, and I really don't like to hear anybody say he caved.
Yeah, Lindsey Graham even said that a lot of the Democrats are coming to him behind Nancy's back.
Right.
And saying, they want the wall too, or at least they want to negotiate. They want to talk. They want to give a little, take a little, blah blah blah. But Nancy No Pants doesn't seem to want to do anything.
Oh, please keep her pants on.
Oh, that was just horrible.
Oh my gosh. Oh, the camera touch of moonshine. Oh my goodness. But I do believe, and I said this in our prediction show, that they are underestimating Nancy's dementia. Now, I've read articles that, she's in stage 6. She's not in stage 6. She's not, she can still toilet herself, we think. But she is at a stage, and I love old people. I'm getting older. But when people get to a certain point, and you got to remember, she's 78 years old. They don't care about anybody else's reality except their own.
And what they're eating for dinner.
And they don't have to explain it like the rest of us.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay? She's at that point.
Nancy, she calls herself the masturbate. No, wait a minute. I'm sorry, master legislator. I thought it was masturbator there for a while. But let me tell you.
That doesn't help with the visuals at all.
I guess the thinking about the moon got me off on a track. But Nancy, every time I think about her, I just think about how there's got to be a place somewhere where you can always, both sides can meet.
And negotiate.
And that's why it's called negotiations. And if she's supposed to be the negotiator, the great one, like she says, then okay. She said, well, we're not going to do anything till you open up the government.
She never said that. She just said no. Some of her people around her said, open up the government, then we'll talk. And particularly Steiny.
Maybe it's Chucky.
Right-hand man.
Maybe Chucky. Chucky.
Chucky you can deal with, but when he gets around Nancy, you can't deal with Chucky.
He's scared of her.
Well,
everybody's afraid of her. Her daughter said she can cut your head off and you won't know you're bleeding. That was her kid.
Yeah.
That wasn't Trump saying that. That was her daughter.
Now, the last deal that Trump put on the table, I thought was an excellent deal. Solved a lot of problems. Solved them all.
Well, yeah, and very unpopular with his base, okay? But who cares?
Right.
The base can kiss his ass. What are they going to do? Yeah. They're not going to get another conservative in there to beat him. He needs to forget about the base and remember those middle-of-the-road people and those independents. And you know what? Those people like me, I want those kids to have a road to stability.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Give them a lifetime green card, give them citizenship. But give them something. The base doesn't want it. Quit listening to Laura Ingraham. Quit listening to Ann Coulter. And forget that. The base is going to be with you because they got to be with you. They don't got anybody else.
Yeah, I agree.
Come down to the middle. Come up to the middle. Forget the partisanship. When it comes to immigration and those DACA kids, do the right thing.
Absolutely.
Those kids did not ask to be brought over here.
And then the bad thing is, or bad or good, however you want to look at it, what would the Dems bitch at it then? If they had...
They don't want to help those
Exactly.
kids.
They don't want it to come to an end.
No.
If it comes to an end, that takes away all their bitching at Trump.
Yeah.
And conservatives. It's just they cannot stand it if they can't just ream.
The ace up the sleeve is the DACA kids.
Yeah, and he's going to expose them. So who really won? Who really backed off? Was it her or Trump? Because he exposed her on the DACA kids.
Yeah, I think you are correct there. That was just, that exposed all their cards and what they were all about right there.
Exactly. And then the little stunt she pulled on the State of the Union address.
Yeah, no doubt.
You can't come to my place and give the speech. And he goes, okay, Nancy, well, is the State of the Union back on now? Because everybody's getting paid as of about 4 o'clock our time yesterday.
Yeah, Grace and I were talking, and I said, you know what, now if I was Trump, I would say, okay, so now I get to have my State of the Union address. And so he gets up and says, we have the people back to work, and now we're going to work out and he turns around to Nancy and says, Nancy, what time will you be at my office tomorrow so we can hash this out?
About the DACA kids. He needs to say
and you know
DACA.
what? Those eyes of hers would roll back in her head like The Exorcist.
Oh, yeah,
would
she'll
just
do that.
you
Where
would
she
think
bites
she's
on
just-
her bottom lip.
That battle lip.
When she gets nervous and when she gets around Trump, look at her. She is eating the inside of, behind her bottom lip. She eats it.
Maybe she's just adjusting her false teeth.
No, I look. She doesn't have
Fangs, her fangs, not false teeth.
But I cannot wait for the State of the Union. It's going to be popcorn and pizza at this house.
Yeah, I think it's going to be watched by a lot of Canadians too, because we've had our nose up against the windows watching. So.
Oh yeah.
Well, on the 5 Yes No is another show. Anyway, they were talking about that maybe Trump should get out of Washington for a few days.
Absolutely.
Go
And
out
you
on
know
the
what? I think
road
that's a good idea. Washington starts screwing
and go
with
to
your
his
brain.
base, which are the people.
Every time we go to New York, I tell the hammer, I say, let's take that little trip down to Washington, D.C. He goes, hell no. We'll come back crazy people.
Yeah.
He won't let me go.
Yeah. Dana said he needs to get out of there. She goes, as most of you know, and she's talking to Ed Henry, you need to get out of there ever so often. She goes, it'll drive you nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he can come up to Canada, but who the hell wants to talk to Trudeau?
Well, yeah, that's a
Obama.
story.
Yeah, Obama does. Yeah.
Him and Obama probably are out snow skiing together, aren't they?
Oh, could be. Definitely.
Either that or they're down there where Trudeau's got his money tucked away.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
pretty in the Caribbean, isn't it?
Yeah, the
Islands or
yeah.
which island?
well, I think it's a private island with owned by the Aga Khan, I believe.
Oh, I thought maybe he had his own.
Yeah, okay. Well, it's really high flying.
Not yet.
There was a lot of U.S. politicians that had their money in that, but their names have sure disappeared off of a lot of that news.
Oh, yeah. And they're about to arrest the guy that exposed a lot of them, Jerry Corsai. I say he gets arrested next Friday, but we're jumping ahead a little bit here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but another thing that, speaking of Obama and Obamacare and the 2020 race, you have people like, oh my gosh, Alexandria Ocasio. What's her last name?
Cortez.
Cortez. I keep wanting to go Cortez. Okay, whatever. One of those S's. Anyway, she's rubbed off on Pocahontas.
Oh, and a lot of them, I think.
Okay, so Pocahontas now, Elizabeth Warren has the idea of taxing the tippy top. They're calling it actually the tippy top. Okay.
The tippy top.
And that means the top 1%.
Okay.
Okay. And that's going to solve all of our problems, and it's going to save the middle class. They're going to tax the tippy top, and they're going to give us to these people down here in the middle class, because our middle class is shrinking. And they're onto something, because the middle class is shrinking. Now, why is the middle class shrinking? Well, Obama's Obamacare. We are now spending more on health insurance than mortgages in the middle class. Okay?
Wow.
It is distressing the middle class. Okay? And we got to remember that John McCain did not let us fix this. While we had control of the Senate and the House. Okay? Trump tried to do it.
Right.
Well, instead of fixing health care, they want to take it from the tippy top, which actually works for about 18 months.
Yeah, they do realize that the tippy top can take their money and go elsewhere. They realize that, right?
Yeah, I mean, no, they don't.
No, they don't. That's the
And they
problem.
also think that the tippy top is going to continually have money coming in after they drain it. Okay? When they put the tippy top in the 70% tax bracket that they want to put it in, they don't understand that that money will not be replenished. So the first 18 months of the program, we're living the frickin' high life. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, but what happens when you spend other people's money? Margaret Thatcher told us it runs out.
Yeah.
The tippy top will run out. And then we're what? Venezuela.
Yep.
You know, and
It's not
also,
great down there. They don't have toilet paper.
also, the tippy top are smart enough to make all that money. Do you think they're not smart enough to figure out how to hide it
Or move it.
or move it or change it to where
I
you
mean, Justin
can't get it?
Trudeau moved his.
Yeah.
They don't care.
Paradise Papers and groups like that exist everywhere, and they always will.
Yes, they're not
But
idiots.
if you want to fix things for the middle class, you take care of health care.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay? That is the problem. You cannot imagine how much a house of 3 people can spend on health care. In fact, most people can't afford it.
Right.
If they pay for it, they can't do anything else. Okay? Like go out to eat, buy a new car, because it's way more. It's 3 car payments.
Well, we kind of have that problem
One
in
person is 3
Canada.
car payments.
Yeah, we kind of have that problem in Canada, only our biggest bill as a Canadian is our taxes at 42%. And the average Canadian's cost of housing is 21%. So we're paying double the amount
Of the housing.
out of anything else. Yeah.
Now that makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
How do you make that? How do you make
long,
that
though,
arithmetic
can a
work?
society sustain that?
No, absolutely not. And that's what's, now we have the Yellow Vest protests going on here because Canadians are done with it. 42%.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you imagine? And that's okay. If you go to buy something else, you're paying more and more taxes. So you end up, actually getting maybe $30 out of 100.
Well, to tell you the truth, we are pretty much in that tax bracket too. By the time you add federal, state, local, and that's without even sales taxes, we're right at the 50% mark here in Springfield in Missouri.
Right.
Those places, that's why people like us look in the older age to moving to Texas or Florida because we can cut that tax bill by about 1/3.
Wow.
And that's a lot of money when you're retired.
Yeah, that is. Holy smoke.
And speaking of Florida residents, Roger Stone, a sort of confidant of President Trump's during the election, it lasted about 5 minutes in 2015. Nevertheless, they arrested him yesterday. 29 officers from the FBI came to the 66-year-old man's house at 6:15 in the morning with, what was it? All of them had guns. Some of them had
AK-47.
I know.
Some of them had more than one gun.
Exploding the shock grenades.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
And he had a.
I know that they sent more people to arrest Roger Stone than they sent to Benghazi.
Yeah.
You're damn right.
And sooner.
Very good. Very, very good observation. It's it would be funny except that it's sad. But so anyway, even when he gets to court, the judge just lets him sign. I mean, he didn't have to post bond. It was a $250,000. The judge says you're not a runner.
Yeah.
Okay, so even the indictment is not about anything more than the process. They say he lied about something to Congress. Not that he colluded with the Russians, not that he obstructed justice, not that he was working as a foreign agent or, fixing votes or fixing Hillary's emails or whatever. He simply lied. And at 66,
yeah, come on.
you have to wonder, did he lie or did he forget? I mean, this guy is very active. I mean, he supposedly had to deal with some emails that he was forwarded. Shit, I don't even read all those things.
Well, I think
it was from WikiLeaks.
Yeah, I think
it had to do with WikiLeaks. Yeah.
The guy doesn't even own a gun. He's not a gun owner, and they sent 29
agents
there to.
Yeah, it was all a show.
And my favorite is that CNN was there.
Yeah, just accidentally.
Oh, yeah, how would they know? Yeah.
Because the reporter said that he used his instincts.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah,
yeah, like a phone call from higher ups.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
You get your ass over there before 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
That's the way that went down.
Yeah, that's that instinct. Yeah, kicking in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want your job, don't you?
He dreamt about it. They called while he was dreaming, so he dreamt about it.
Yeah, I think the simple fact that CNN was there to film this supposed big raid tells you right there that this was all just put on as a performance. But
who's going to be next Friday? Will it be Don Jr., which will be difficult because he doesn't sleep in the same house every night. He's got,
Well, they have to know where Kimberly lives.
Well, but sometimes they travel out of town and sleep places. They sleep all over the country. Okay? So, I know, you'd like to be sleeping with her. But... Well,
call me if you get tired, Kimberly.
Don Jr.? Yeah.
Yeah.
Call the hammer. 867-5201 or
yeah, 867-5309.
Oh, 309.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
I can't believe my kids used to sing that all the time. I can't believe I forgot. Anyway, it'll be him or Jerome Corsi. Okay.
Yeah.
We will see. He's friends with Roger. He's 76, 77 and has no money. They like to arrest people that don't have any money to support the legal fees they have to spend because they're indicted over basically nothing.
Right. I mean, it seems like it's just a crime to be an associate of Trump's at this point.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's exactly true.
And they try to get these guys that they can squeeze on the money so they'll roll over.
Well, yeah, because
and maybe
they're about
say
to lose their house.
something or if they know anything. But there's nothing, apparently, there's nothing to know because they have not gotten one of these guys to come up with anything that's made any difference in whatever Mueller's looking at. Not one. 2 years.
Right.
Yeah.
2 years and what, $20 million?
27 last I heard.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Well, let's talk about something a little more fun. I guess I'm really down on football. Last 2 times I've gone to football games, I've gotten sick. So I'm going to let the hammer talk about football. He is choosing better this year.
Yes, he is.
Yes, I do want everyone to know that I did pick the national championship game. Mm-hmm. I did go 3 out of 4 on the divisional playoff games. Now,
so you've redeemed yourself.
I have
from
redeemed
last
myself.
year.
However, I am going to be perfectly honest, and because of the sickness last week, we did not get to air my picks. But I'm going to be perfectly honest that I did pick the Kansas City Chiefs, and I did pick the Saints.
Well, the Saints really won.
The Saints really won.
I'm not sure you lost that.
And we got beat by a penalty. Both games ended on a penalty by the winner was determined by a penalty.
Wow.
One that was thrown, one that wasn't thrown. So, in my mind, I can almost rationalize that I won both games. However, I don't
especially
think
on a
anybody else
Saturday
did.
after a couple of drinks.
Yeah, that's. But I tell you what, I am going to do. I am going to do my diligent homework, and I will have a guaranteed winner of the Super Bowl.
Okay.
What, on Monday after the Super Bowl?
No. Well, yeah, no. I wouldn't do that. I'm not a Monday morning
You can't
quarterback.
guarantee it. You'll get our pantyhose shoot off. So say something besides that.
My lock of the year.
Okay, lock of the year. We'll go with the Hammers lock of the year. You'll have that ready for us at the end of next week. In time for the Super Bowl.
Guaranteed, as they used to say.
Okay. Right on.
Yeah. Okay. We will look forward to that.
I will agree that I'm going to look forward to that one for sure.
We don't always agree, but life's a journey, and we're all in this together. Thanks for listening. Godspeed, Connor, and Godspeed to all of our friends out there.
Godspeed, Grace, and thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for joining us, Hammer.
You betcha. As they said in the Terminator, I'll be back.